so that you would believe deep down that it's not Russia attacking you but someone else, and that all of this is just slander. I gave you secrets from World War II. The Red Brigades that were roaming around. Who led them? Russians, of course, Russians. And for this they were taken captive ideologically, that is, ideological captivity. They took those Bolshevik, noble women. Women, it was somehow always based on women. I don't know what attracted those hens. On September the 22nd, unknown drones mysteriously attacked the sovereign nations of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, causing significant concern. The Prime Minister of Denmark stated that this is very much the characteristic Russian style, and they have officially confirmed that these were indeed Russian-made drones that specifically struck some critically important infrastructure targets. At the very same time, in the bustling city of Moscow, Mayor Sobyanin was indeed under considerable pressure, and he also had to actively defend against incoming drones, a significant and ongoing threat. As a result, in Moscow, 23 drones were shot down. Also in the media, there are video clips from Roitov, a suburb of Moscow, which also show drones, but in this case, not ones that were shot down, but drones that actually hit their targets, cars burning in a courtyard. And somewhere there, they struck playgrounds as well. These issues are being discussed and shown in the media. Maybe for us it wouldn't even be that interesting, and in general, why should we even discuss it? But the fact is, a war is being ignited. A major world war. All countries are getting drawn in. Yes, it's happening. The war is already underway, and it's already global. But it's not yet the kind of world war that would be considered global for Russia. Remember, in 1933, Hitler was marching through Germany. In 1935, 36, 37, Hitler marched through France, Spain, Italy, Franco, Duce. There, they were all uniting in support of Hitler, that is, of Europe. So on one side there was war, on one side Hitler was seizing territories, and on the other side there were leaders who supported Hitler. But who were they fighting against there? They were fighting against the people's militias. Then who led the people's militias? The USSR. The people's militias of Spain and Italy. In France, they were led by the Red Brigades, remember? And importantly, what exactly were the notorious Red Brigades doing in the countries of France, Spain, and Italy? Well, tell me, you fought, the people fought. So what were Russian soldiers doing in Afghanistan at that time? Who were they fighting against? The Afghan war? The Russians started fighting against the king of Afghanistan, who was ruling the country at that time? Again, you'll say it was normal, again for freedom. Whose freedom? The freedom of those who, before the war with Russia, wore modern skirts and dresses. Young people studied, the whole country was developing. And after the war with Russia, they started wearing burqas. The Taliban? Whose hands were those of the Soviet Union? And who created them? Who fed them? Look at the photos of a young Shoigu standing with the Taliban. Well, look it up online. It's all there on the internet. As for our current situation, friends, it's exactly the same for us. On one hand, Russia denies it, says it wasn't them. They bombed Poland. 56 countries have recognized that Russia bombed Poland. 56 countries. And what does Russia say? No. It tells you, the citizens of the country, so that you believe internally that it's not Russia telling you this, but someone else. And that all of this is just slander. I've shared with you secrets from World War II, the Red Brigades that were active, and who led them? Russians. Of course, Russians. And for that, they were taken prisoner ideologically. That is ideological captivity. They took those Bolshevik, noble women on women. For some reason, they based it on women. I don't know what they used to catch these chickens. And there were some Chekhovs and some other Vorontsovs. In general, friends, each country had its own. The actress Chekhova in Germany, yes, I think she was from the Red Brigades. In general, it was all like that, let me tell you. None of it was necessary because it's all one life. One conductor, one manager, he conducts there and he conducts here. So what kind of war is this? Who needs it? What is there to fight for? What kind of Rus are we supposed to fight for? The one that's long been surrendered? The one that's run by conductors from other directions? And now with these drones over Denmark, over Romania, Poland, Copenhagen, they're pulling in others. Who else? Sweden, yes. This shows that once again Russia as, no, not a gendarme, but a soldier. A loyal soldier is starting to fight again in all countries. I'm not talking about Africa. I'm not talking about Syria, which was surrendered, which was given away. Syria was given away. And after all, the Soviet Union, Russia, has been present in Syria from the very beginning, since the Bolsheviks came to power. It's the same with Syria. Stalin ruled and controlled there, yes, with his bandit brigades. And since then, that's how Syria was kept in their hands. And what now? They ruined the country. They ruined the country and brought no good at all. Terrible prisons which Russians taught both Syrians and Iraqis how to build. You remember that, right? They taught them to build prisons, truly unique prisons, where no matter how much you scream, nothing can be heard. They're located in the city, even under the palace or under the city itself, and nothing can be heard. These were concrete dungeons, all poured underground. This is something Russia knows how to do well. But why, tell me? Why take on such a role? I'm not talking about the country right now. I'm talking about the rulers right now. Why is it that Russia consistently gets rulers who, as you can clearly see basically throughout their history, govern in the interests of someone else, but certainly not in the interests of Russians? And Russians are being silenced. They're simply silenced, their mouths sewn shut. There was even an experiment where people's mouths were sewn shut. An experiment in Russia. Such an experiment was conducted in the forests of Karelia. Where else? I think there were similar experiments in Crimea. That's why Crimea was empty from 44 to 56. Well, maybe someone did live there, of course. You might say, but my grandmother lived there. But she did live there. Thank God they didn't drag her into that experiment. When people's mouths were simply sewn shut and they observed how the brain functioned. That's why there was a biological station, which, by the way, was also opened by the Jungs. They tell us no, not those Jungs. So which Jungs? What other Jungs were there in the world? Only the Swiss Jungs. I'm Tanya Karatsova, Severberg. Today is September 24th, 2025. Think, friends, when someone tries to stuff unnecessary information into your head, think and realize that a war is being started. And war begins with propaganda to turn the whole nation against something. Against what? Against logic, against themselves. Mr. Stin, who today ranks 18th among the most influential Jews in the world, Mr. Stin, who runs your country, a ranking,